everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to review the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 7, the finale episode. And this bad boy was action-packed to the brim, and it was awesome. It was a great finale. Ironically, for a show that's had a lot of ups and downs, the last 3 episodes, it ended on such a strong note with the last 3 episodes that I think people will walk away. Like, I think it's a strange show because I do think that while I enjoyed the first 4 episodes, admittedly, episodes 3 and 4 were meh. Were like, okay. And then in episode 5, 6, and 7, were just awesome to me. It's particularly this episode. This episode was action-packed. It was an hour-long episode, and it was pretty much a full hour episode. Like when it got to the end, I was like, oh yeah, there's just like 2 minutes of credits. So this is about a 56 long hour, show episode. It's the longest episode of the show, and I'd say about 45 minutes of it is like, about 45 to 50 minutes of it is dedicated to action. Non-stop action. There's some awesome sequences with Boba and Mando, back-to-back, old-school Western style, taking out people. There's this great sequence where fucking Boba is riding the Rancor and fighting against these big-ass droid bots. Now, they look kind of like, I don't know the particular name of the Star Wars droids, of all of them. I don't really know their names, but I do know in Attack of the Clones there were these like rolling droids that like would roll out and they had these 2 guns like on their side, and like they would have like this force field that pops up around them and they'd just be shooting. It was like a big ass version of that. And they were having a hard time with it, and then the Rancor was tossing them around with some, kind of like a kaiju fight in the middle of this. So much awesome action, and even like there was some great shades of The Godfather in this, or gangster movies in general. In most gangster films, particularly gangster films where the gangster we're following is on top. There's always a rival gang or a rival person who comes after them. And when they do it, it's always like some simultaneous attack. It's always like they attack their business, they attack all their allies, and they attack them all at once. And it was one of those deals in this. Whereas like when the attack went down, it was fast, it was furious, people were dying, there were stakes, real stakes, like you really weren't sure who, you kind of had a feeling that Boba, Mando, and Fennec weren't gonna die, but sorry, Boba, Mando, Fennec, and Grogu, who shows up, you knew that they weren't gonna die, but everyone else was up in the air. Everyone else could die, and you never knew who was gonna die, and there was this tension there because of how hard they were going, and they killed a couple of characters off like almost up top. And it just never left that pace of just like, this is go, this is gang war in the streets. And it was awesome into that. It was really cool, really awesome. Like I said, the action beats were really cool. The Rancor stuff, the CGI on the Rancor looked amazing as well. But we also got some real good character stuff with Boba, with him and Cad Bane. Because as so many people were talking about after last week, in Clone Wars, Cad Bane is sort of is Boba's mentor. He's the one who, like, sure, Boba's father probably taught him a thing or two, but the bulk of Boba, like, that helped Boba become the second, the best bounty hunter in the world, in the galaxy, was from Cad Bane. Cad Bane taught him how to be that. And there was someone brought this up many times before, that there's a Clone War episode that never was aired where we would see how Boba got that dink in his helmet, and it was from Cad Bane. So we can assume that that's still canon because it was recorded, it just wasn't aired. So I don't know why they would make it like that didn't happen. And clearly they have so much history, and even if you hadn't watched Clone Wars, you get, at least I think, that they get across very well the history between these 2 characters and how these 2 characters feel about each other. Cad Bane is like, almost is this older gunfighter, and he's looking at Boba and he's just like, what are you doing, kid? Like, that's basically his whole mentality is, I thought I taught you better, kid. What are you doing this? What are you doing being here? Like, and he's trying to goat Boba into this gunfight. He's just trying, you know? It's almost like he wants to test himself against the kid, and it's so weird. It's so strange because like you've been watching Boba Fett this entire time, and it's interesting. You've been watching Boba Fett this entire time in the Mandalorian season 2 and in this show, and he's the old elder statesman in most of the rooms he's in, and then you see, and then the way that Cad Bane talks to him, and the way that the way that Boba reacts to him, he seems so much younger. You know what I mean? He seems like a kid or someone younger. And even at a certain point when they're talking in their final confrontation, he straight up says, "I'm not a boy anymore." I'm paraphrasing, but Boba basically says to Cad, "I'm not a boy anymore. You ain't gonna just punk me the fuck out. Like, you're not gonna just say some shit and punk me the fuck out. I'm not a kid anymore. I won't scared of you then. I damn sure ain't scared of you now." That's basically what Boba said to him. "I won't scared of you when I was a boy. I damn sure ain't scared of you now." And they had a cool gunfight, but like, I do like how they still give Cad his respect by saying that he is faster than Boba. He is the fastest gun. No one beats him in a draw. He's beaten everyone in the draw. And he beat Boba here. He beat him. He couldn't get him. In fact, Cad Bane's mistake was getting all close up and personal with Boba, because he ended up killing him with his gaffy stick, which I think is actually really poetic when you sit back and think about it. I know some people are really upset that Cad Bane died. I understand, because I love Cad Bane. I thought he was a great character in the Clone Wars. It was awesome seeing him live action. But once it became obvious that once it became obvious that Cad wanted this duel, and once it was like, okay, he's on the other side of this thing. Like, sure, they could have wrote it where Cad's just like, "Nah, I'm good. I'll just bail out, and, you know, it's not really worth the money. You know, yeah, I'm all right." But it seemed like the way that Cad had it, like, after that, when that first sequence happened, I was like, dude, there's something personal here. Like, it's not like, you know, like, if it was just some random dude, it wasn't Boba, and it was just some other guy, if it was Mando, perhaps, maybe he would have walked away. But it was personal. And he wanted to get a point across. Because it was almost like, at least from my perspective, the vibe I got off of Cad Bane was, he felt like Boba thought he was better than him. Like the idea that Boba could go straight and be a normal, and be like a protector and whatnot, the idea that Boba is anything but a killer, just like him, he found it insulting. And like, he was like, I have to prove a point here. That's what I got from Cad Bane, is he found it insulting that Boba thought he could drop the life and be a good guy and go straight. And he's just like, the fuck are you talking about? No. You're just like me. You're not better than me. I'm going to prove you're not better than me right here. That's the vibe I got off of Cad Bane, was he was trying to prove a point that Boba ain't better than him, and he was going to kill, and if it meant killing him, ORL. Like, that's the vibe I got. And once I got that vibe, because I got it early on in their first conversation, I was like, well, Boba's not gonna die. It's the Book of Boba Fett. They're not gonna kill Boba Fett. Boba Fett's a much bigger character than Cad Bane. I mean, I hate to break it to people, you know. I love Cad Bane from Clone Wars, but Boba Fett's a big deal, you know. Whether deserved or not, he's a bigger deal than him. So they're not gonna kill him, which means either A, Cad's gonna die, which is what happened, or B, he's gonna think he killed him but didn't. It's gonna be goddamn, what's his face? It's gonna be Moff Gideon in season 1, where Mando shot him out of the sky and he survived. I'm like, it's gonna be some situation like that where we think he's dead, but he's not really. Plus, they kept repeatedly bringing up how old he is. You know what I mean? Like, they kept repeatedly bringing up age, and the more they kept bringing it up, the more like even Boba kind of got him like, you're an old man. Like the vibe you get is that if he was played by a normal human being, that like he would look like goddamn Sam Elliott. Like, he'd be like the same age as Sam Elliott. So he'd be like back there, you know what I mean? Like, Sam Elliott, you know, he's still doing shit, but Sam Elliott's up there in age, you know? Like, that's the vibe you get. Like if in years he's like 80 something, you know what I mean? Like, you get the vibe that he is up there. Like Landon Ricketts from Red Dead Redemption, old. Like, you get that's the vibe you get off of Cad Bane. Just the way they keep saying his age and how old he is. It's like, okay, yeah, he must be up there. And once they kept mentioning how old he is, the simple fact that there are no books, there are books, but none of those books, there haven't been any books that involved him in a more closer time to the events of the Last Jedi. The Force Awakens, there hasn't been any books that are like kind of close to that. So we know he has to die eventually. And it would be a shame for him to just, you know, go away. Like he was gonna, like, put it this way. Someone was gonna kill Cad Bane. Someone was going to. And having it be Boba Fett, and having Cad Bane antagonize him about the Tuskens, and how the Tuskens made him weak and all this, and having Boba Fett get the advantage on him by not only using a Tusken weapon, but using it in the way the Tuskens taught him to use it, is poetic. It really is. So overall, I ended up loving this episode. It was so action-packed. I was like, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? It was a blast. It really was. I enjoyed myself. Overall, the show had ups and downs. You know what I mean? It's not like The Mandalorian where I'm like I was enjoying every episode of The Mandalorian for the most part. Only episode of Mandalorian that I didn't love was the Gunslinger, but even I still liked that. I still enjoyed it. Like, but this show, it ended so strong that I'm just kind of over it, I think. The last 3 episodes were just so good that I'm just like, well, fuck, I don't, you know. The first 4 episodes were weird, but hey, I had a great time with this. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.